Hey guys, welcome back to Flying in Space with Planet Head. Um, to be honest, I really wasn't planning on making a video today. I was just kind of planning on just doing some work on my ideas from the last video about creating the Kestral and the Kestral PvP ship and kind of organizing that. But then as I was doing it, I had a couple of brain um, epiphanies, I guess would be the right word for it, as far as doing things, since I'm combining both PvP and industrial at the same time. What can I do for the near future or maybe long-term future as far as making the game better for me and organizing things? So I thought I'd kind of show you guys what I've kind of come up with for a basic census as a kind of organic thing that's happening. Um, and I'm sure I'll make some other improvements, but just kind of throwing some things together. Uh, the best way I can think about it is um, when you're just doing production. Uh-oh, somebody's coming over to say hi. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, we were just outside hanging out, but you still need some hugs, don't you? Yeah, you do. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. You're a camera hog. That's you are. Okay? That's my face. Yep, that's my face. Did you want to play? You're going to go outside and play. Okay. She's got an attention span of about a minute, maybe 30 seconds, unless I'm rubbing her head. Okay. She'll probably be back by the end of the video. Depending on how long this is, I honestly have no idea how long this was, but now she's stopped my brain from working. Coffee. Good, good, good. Okay, I know this is organic. I'm trying to keep all my thoughts within the game. Again, I know there's some third-party sites out there or some things that I can use to make this better. Or easier on me, but I'm kind of trying to do it as if I was in the game playing. Um, I know where I was going before she interrupted. So if you're just focused on production, which is fine, I think you can pull up numbers and marketing and things like that and figure out what will sell, what won't sell, that sort of thing, and I think you can grow from there. If you're just focused on PvP, or in my case, what is possibly going to be faction warfare space, um, at least at the beginning, um, you're focused on just making the best ship and learning how to fly it correctly, and doing stuff there. Um, Combining those two um, has been a little bit of a epiphany for myself, and I think you could do the same thing if you were doing mining or any other activity exploration or even PvE. You could combine them together, which could make the game a lot more fluid and a lot more realistic in a weird way. Um, so as I was talking about yesterday, I needed to go out and get the blueprint originals to build the fit for the Kestrel that I found within the game. I think this is a really good baseline to start with, and then as I fly it and get blown up a lot, look for ways to improve. But at the same point, while I'm building those things and getting blown up a lot, I can learn how to produce things better, and then in the long run, actually work toward creating my own little business within the game and test marketing these by being blown up to see what works, what doesn't, what other people might use, and sell those items. So, and taking these blueprint originals and making them better so that my costs go down on production. Finally, in the long term, if I do it correctly, um, I can then take what I've skilled up to build this Kestrel. A lot of these items, especially like the warp scramblers. Oop, there we go. Get back out of here. What was that? Um, to I can take the information that I get from these, and a lot of the items that I'm using in this, I'll learn not only I'll be able to transfer that information over and make it faster for me to build other ships that I want to fly and do things with. So what I've ended up doing is I've created a small little spreadsheet here to start with. This is a baseline spreadsheet for my Kestral and Google Docs. And then I'll start adding on more tabs here. I'll probably add on a master BPO tab so I can keep track of them. But as I'm doing it, I'm putting in here um, what the research time is, or how much each BPO has been researched for material, their time that's been researched, which none of these have yet. I'm going to start working on that. But as a alpha, it's kind of limited. You can kind of use, if I wanted to, I could use my alt to maybe do it a little bit faster, but then I have to transfer the blueprints back and forth. Um, Putting in here for if the batch run for the Kestrel, if I'm making 5 Kestrels, then how many of the other items here do I need? How much time it takes to build all of this? And then the materials that go into it. Reason why I'm kind of doing this is kind of get a general feel. And if I was really smart, I'd make a database because it'd be a lot faster. Or something else. But this is, I love spreadsheets. I can kind of track how things are going. Long story short, um, I can see how much money I'm saving by researching things. I can plan out my actual production. The reason today why I actually started the video was exactly what I've run into right now, which I think will be helpful to me in the future because not only by to make yourself more efficient, I put in here how long these batch runs take. So then I know what to overlap or time out for the batches. So that a perfect example right now is in my production queue. I just ended building the Mjolnir rockets. I did 20 of those, and I think I did the stasis web. Nope, nope, not the stasis web fire. The micro warp drive. Okay, those just finished. But at the same time, I was building 20 rocket launchers, which still have 2 hours to go. So looking back at the spreadsheet in the future, what I can do is actually plan out my batches so that they overlap or end at the same times so that I don't have to log in at different times. I can schedule those out. Um, I can put in a calculation here too if I want to increase the number, decrease the number. This will be helpful later on for not only just making ships to get blown up in, but I think um, also as far as me producing things for the market and finding out if it's worthwhile or if it's not. Other things that I can build from here and maybe another sheet are current costs of titanium, pyrite, blah, 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 blah. And also planning out how and when I need to get these materials ready to go. So even if I've got a current production going on, I need to be ready for that next production that's coming up. And do I have enough materials? So it's just the beginning of the spreadsheet here, but a lot of good information that I can do. So in general, um, as you can see here, now I'm just kind of throwing things in right now to get a feel for this, but I've made a, let's see here, I've made my whatchamacallit, my container for the Kestrel. In the future, I'll make other containers for other ships that I'm making, so I keep them all there. And I can take and copy these blueprints down once they're skilled up. But I can move the blueprints back and forth. Um, Hold on, get a drink. And as usual, this is not, I didn't have a script for this, so I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants while I'm making this video. The last one that I'm a little bit worried about are these uh, rigs that I have to put on here, because they do involve actual components that I would have to salvage. And whether or not I can get those salvaged parts from this area, I don't know. So that might be interesting. I may have to actually purchase these for my first run. I thought about flying without them, but I think that's a disservice. But that will be something that I'll have to keep an eye out for, because some of these items that you salvage aren't in the areas that you're at. So that's another one. But right now I'm just dealing with material goods. So we've got one, two, and three more regular pieces of production that I have left to do, but I only have two slots open, um, which of course I could skill up and get that better too. So there's so many different things that you can do with this. Um, let's go ahead and do the medium shield and use this blueprint. And hopefully it might bring up something here. This is a mistake that I ran into before, and you're not going to see it right now, but I was having an issue yesterday when I was building the Kestrels. I would pull up the blueprint and it wouldn't show the materials over here. Now this is a really simple fix, but but it took me like 5 minutes to remember. Up here in the top right hand corner, it had defaulted to my Kestral box and was trying to pull the minerals from there. You don't need that. Let's see here, we'll go back to the main item hanger. That's where all my minerals are, and we need to build 5 of these. 5, okay. Before I set this in motion, I'm going to actually come over here, and we are doing the medium shield. So we're doing 5 of those, and we need 9450 and, oops, that's not time. 9450 in titanium, 2280 in pyrite, 895 in Mexilon, and 30 in Isogen. When I get all of this data, I can then take this information and add prices to them, see how much it's actually costing me to do these. And the OCD part of me realizes that this has titanium, but it is not capitalized like everything else, so we need to fix that. Titanium. Okay. And then how long is this going to take? This will take 56 minutes. So I'm going to go back over. What was it there? 56. There it is. 56. Oops. Hit the wrong button. And the OCD part of me says this needs to be to the right. Which I could have just copied and pasted from my micro warp drives. Interesting one that I saw too is when you start doing this, you start maybe seeing a few little things that are different that maybe you didn't notice. I made the Inferno rockets yesterday, and then today, this morning when I woke up, I started off the Mjolnir rockets and made those. Same processing times, um, same level of batch runs, but the Mjolnir rockets compared to the Infernos actually take more materials to build. Now, in the small runs, this doesn't really matter a whole lot. But if you're trying to do a lot of big productions, this could be fairly important. And this little nugget that's in your head might also remind you to always take a look back. Other things like your ballistic control doesn't take takes actually a little bit of a lot of different, if I'm making sense, multiple small amounts of a lot of different items or minerals. The big one here is the first one that I've run into that has to have megasite, which can be one of the tougher ones to actually get in HiSec. Some different tricks of the trade that you can get that way. I'll probably do a video about that. But we got this. We're going to go ahead and start that. Okay, let's do the next one. The stasis webifier. We want to do 5 of those for 5 ships. Boom, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one actually doesn't. Just to be consistent, close that down. We got the stasis webifier 1. Actually, it says stasis fire 1. Cool. Make it 5 of them. And it's going to take an hour and 52 seconds. And we've got 4310 titanium, 3960, and oops, yeah, pyrite and 2645 in Mexilon. At the bottom down here, what I can very easily do is just sum out. When I go to make 5 of these at a time, um, and just add all this together. Good. There we go. Then, and this is going to sound dumb, but I know this is just one page, but as I'm wanting to do some comparisons of everything, when I start skilling up each one of these blueprints or researching them, not skilling them up, researching them, I'll go ahead and actually copy this and paste it here. And from here, I'll actually be able to see the difference in the pricing difference. Okay, and this will be the active one. This will be the original BPO here. A lot of stuff that you could do to learn. Why am I doing it this way? I've always had a tough time reading something and retaining that knowledge. I always have to use it or manipulate it in some way. Once I use it or manipulate it in some way, um, then I'm it's a lot easier for me to retain something. I think about this all the time. Um, Back when I worked for my father at the steel mill, I worked on the floor for about 2 years, and then for a year I moved up into the computer room, and I was right down the hallway from him. Um, uh, and this, uh, and he actually ran the steel plant, and he was having an issue with his computer one day, and he knew that I was pretty good with computers. Now this was early 90s, and um, oh wait, we need to hit start on this, don't we? Sorry for the story time. So that's up and running. So we just need to come back at some point. Later on today, I'll take a look at salvaging, see what I need to do to get that up and running. But that is all good. So to finish the story, long story short, he was having a problem. So he called me and he's like, "Hey, Bill, can you help me with this? My computer's not working." I can't even remember what the issue was. So he told me what the issue was, and he got out of the computer waiting for me to sit down. And he said, "No," and I said to him, "No, go ahead and sit down. I can show you what to do." So he sat down, and remember, this is my dad. This is a guy um, who had always been my father, the father figure, the guy who always taught me things, but didn't even log into my brain. I said, "Go ahead and sit down." And I can't remember what I showed to him. I think it was like maybe doing a Windows maneuver or something like that. But it was something where he could go in, click on this, click on that, and do that. And he fixed it, and we got it done, and then he stopped me as I was leaving, and my father wasn't the he was a very good man, but he wasn't the best with giving me compliments all the time. So whenever he did get one, it was pretty good, and he actually stopped me as he was leaving. He actually thanked me. He said that was the first time, he'd ever asked somebody with a computer, um, to help him, that they'd shown him what to do. Now every other time he'd actually asked somebody, um they would come in, fix the issue, and he'd be taken care of, and they would leave. They'd always have to call him back. And the only reason I did that for him is it's the only way that I could learn. If I now, I wasn't thinking about this at the time, but I've done that ever since. And we were very similar. Some people can read something and they've got it. A lot of my friends could do that back whenever in the day, whenever I was growing up. I can't do that. I've got to actually manipulate things. Once I manipulate it, I've got it forever. And, or not ever, but a long time, or at least I can pull from those memories. So manipulating these numbers on a spreadsheet has been kind of an eye opener for me because it's now given me more ideas in the future, not for PvP, but for production and how I can track and get better at it in a very a casual way. And see how I pulled it back there? I'm not going to power game it, but let's say if I was running a small business like a coffee shop or I don't know, a woodworking business out of my house or something like that, I wouldn't need all of the big spreadsheets and things. We just need to know how to make some money and each time do it a little better each time on my own. And that's what I'm going to focus on this way. So, um, that's all I got. Um, other than that, I didn't have any. I did do a little story there. Short video. I really wasn't planning on doing one today. Probably post it tomorrow afternoon. But that's all I got for today. So I'm gonna keep working on this. Hey, fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however that you want. I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.